So here's the layout for the calculatives units. We're going to go back and kind of do the macro indicators and kind of the math behind some of that. I know we've done some of it, like the top grossing film of all time assignment. I believe we already did. Then get into fiscal policy stuff and what's called the Keynesian multipliers. Then get into the math and a little bit more in depth on banking. International trade is not going to be on the AP exam this year, so we're going to kind of skip over that, but the Phillips curve will be. So I just want to kind of go through some of the stuff with you guys on this document so that way we you have some basis to kind of help, and you can just go through little by little throughout the week to kind of get some stuff done. There are some activities on the front page here. Like I said, just kind of follow along and do what you can. Yeah. All right. So one measurement of inflation is what's called the GDP deflator. What that does is measure the price differences from year to year based on everything that we produce. Not very useful for us consumers because we use the consumer price index as a much more exact for what we are going to buy. But the deflator is another way that economists can kind of make these calculations. So the formula for the deflator is the nominal GDP over the real GDP times 100. So as you go through, you're just simply taking 8747 divided by 9066.9, and you're going to get, and then times by 100, and you're going to get 96.5. And we can just round. On the old AP exams, at least, you won't be able to use a calculator, but you will, I suppose, for the free response test this year. So you just kind of keep going and doing that, the nominal over real times 100. The base year, is the year that we are using in terms of pricing for like what is the base year. And so the base year here is going to be 2000 because the nominal and real are the same. In the base year, the index number will always be 100. Now what this helps to measure, so if we just kind of look at those two, is how much prices rise over time. So if we look at the nominal GDP, which does not include prices or price changes, does not account for price changes, the nominal GDP goes up, I think every year in this, yep, goes up. So that's due to two effects. Prices could be increasing and or quantity could be increasing. We could be actually producing more, or it's just that the prices go up. When we look at real GDP, when that goes up, we know, because we've removed prices as a factor, that we know that if real GDP goes up, we're actually producing more and more each year. So the GDP deflator kind of tells us the effects of inflation on GDP. And then you can fill out kind of question 5. So calculating the nominal and real GDP. Real GDP, we're going to use the base year prices. We're going to fix the prices in real GDP. So that way we account for inflation by keeping prices constant. Nominal GDP is simply just calculating the price of things in that year. So if we calculate the nominal GDP of 03, we're just going to use those prices. If we're going to calculate in 2005 the nominal GDP, we're just going to use that year's prices. For real GDP, we're going to fix the prices in 2003. So although the quantities change over time, we're going to constantly use for real GDP the prices from 2003. So if I go through and let's say I'll do the nominal GDP in 03, and then let's say the real GDP in 05. We know the deflator in 03 is going to be 100 because that's the base year. So 250 times 100 is going to give us 25,000 for, again, nominal GDP in 03. 5 times 100 is going to be 500. So the nominal GDP is 25,500. Then when we calculate the nominal GDP of 04, we're going to multiply these two numbers together, add it to 7 times 90. So real GDP of 05. So we're going to stick with the price of iPods being 250 times how much we produced in 2005, which is 130. We're going to add that to the price of 2003 of bling is 5 times the production level of 105. Now, if we look, we notice that the actual quantity of goods and services, or the two goods, have increased over time. The price has also increased over time as well. So that's going to make a difference for nominal GDP when the price has changed. Real GDP we know is going to go up. So if I multiply that out and add that together, I get 33,025. So sometimes the AP exam kind of gives you charts like this to kind of fill out and just kind of apply the idea of nominal means just whatever year's price is, and then real means fixing the price in whatever the base year is they give you. So inflation percentages, these are the actual figures for the years listed from 2006 to 2012. The way you calculate inflation rate is new minus old divided by old times 100. And in a chart like this, you'd just be calculating 1 year to the year prior. So if I calculate the inflation rate of 07, it's going to be 207.3 minus 201.6 divided by 201.6 and then times 100, which will give us an inflation rate of 2.8%. Now you're actually going to notice, and this kind of goes along with what happens in a recession, is you're actually going to notice that the price level falls in 2009 because of the recession. So prices weren't just, it wasn't disinflation. We actually had deflation in 2009, and that's one of those IB terms. So it is possible for price levels to actually fall as a result of recessions, as we would expect, because prices certainly aren't going to rise very quickly, but they may actually be falling. So getting into some more inflationary stuff, this is where it gives us some practice, the first couple problems, of dealing with those updating terms from nominal to real. So I'll do the first one with you. When Big Gulps came out in 1983, they cost 39 cents. Today they cost $1.09. So obviously in today, because this was made in 02 by Mr. Cush, those numbers are obviously different, but that today, quote unquote, is 2002 based on this problem. So what we're looking at is, well, what costs more? We know 39 cents in 1983 would be worth more than 39 cents today, but we just don't know exactly how much. So which is more expensive is what the question is asking. Which costs more? So what we have to do is we're creating a ratio, and there's lots of ways to do that. So this, I think, is the most repeatable way to do it. So the Big Gulp cost 39 cents when the price level in 83 was 99.6. So how much does that cost when the price level jumps to 180.9? And then we can compare whatever our answer is to this $1.09 and say what was more expensive. So once we cross multiply and solve for x, we get an answer of 71 cents. So what was more expensive for its time was, even when we update for inflation, it doesn't rise enough, so there's other factors in play in terms of what makes the Big Gulp more expensive today, quote unquote, because it's 2002. So that's what we do to kind of compare numbers. In the next one, it's comparing again. This time it's 1993 versus 2002. So the price level, 180.9, can come down to this one. Then we have just our inflation rates. And again, these are real values from these years, from 77 to 82, a time period in American history with some of the highest, at least some of, if not the highest inflation rates in American history, at least since the central bank was signed into law in 1913. So then it asks just kind of, again, some more practice with inflationary math stuff. So this is kind of the first video. I'll make the rest of the packet video later when I have some more time, but I just wanted to get this up for today so that way it can kind of help you out. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you liked all those ponies, and thank you for all the pony submissions for those. If you want to go back, I'm sure you could find them on Classroom. Have a good day. Remember that what I'm looking for is simply progress over time. So that's kind of the way that I'll grade you. So make sure you fill out the form each day and just kind of say what you completed, if you have any questions, and then that way I can try to deal with it in some of those meetings.